Ek het genoem ek gesels vanoggend met Greg Talbot. Greg, welcome to Groot Plaas.
Thank you, Mia. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm obviously in studio and you are out there. So tell me, where exactly are you guys this morning?
So we're in the middle of the Free State. We're at Aldam. It's a resort very close to Ventersburg, and we're at the LRF Stockman School. It's the 17th year that they've been presenting here, and it's a seminar where we rub shoulders with people from the industry and international speakers, and we see what's going on in the livestock industry.
So let's start at the beginning. How are things going with the livestock industry at the moment?
So, well, first on most people's minds right now is of course foot and mouth. It's a big problem, and biosecurity. So that's obviously putting a damper on things, and but it's something that we need to chat about, and it's something that we need to focus on. I think farmers need to start taking responsibility for the biosecurity on their farms, and gone are the days of sort of government or big stakeholders are responsible. Each little guy must take responsibility for biosecurity. So that's obviously right now. Maybe a bigger picture would be traceability. Traceability is key, and South Africa, I think, are lagging behind if we look at international trends. If we look at so one of the big focuses of the school is to produce meat for consumers that is good for consumers. So what's the quality and what's the standard of the meat? And without traceability, it's very difficult. So there is a big push from the big consumer chains, Woolworths, Pick n Pay, Shoprite, that we all have traceability. But where does traceability start? It starts on the farm, and we need the data. So that's where I think, as an industry, we need to up our game on traceability, so that we can.
You mentioned the livestock school. You mentioned that it started 17 years ago. What was the initial idea? I mean, what's the goal?
So the late Dr. Michael Bradfield, he was one of the initiators of Livestock Registering Federation, the LRF. And so that's quite a number of years ago. So that's in 2000, the Animal Improvement Act was brought onto the books, and that allowed for individual societies to record their own animal data and their own animal records. So the Livestock Registering Federation, they came together I think the founders were the Brahman Society, the Simmental Society, the Hereford Society, and they said, well, we're going to create our own record database. And from that then grew a need to share information, and how do we improve, and what do we want to improve. And out of that then the school was started.
That's wonderful.
And so the school comes together once a year. It's I heard this morning, and I was quite surprised. 17 years that the 17th year that we come together. Yes.
And Greg, I think if we look at the agricultural sector or the industry at the moment, we simply can't think about it without thinking about the waves that technology, and the roles that technology is playing at the moment. So from your point of view, I mean, what does the future look like for agriculture and for livestock?
Well, South Africa have a very strong livestock industry, and there are so many farmers that maybe it's not even their core business is livestock, or maybe they're on millie farms or they're ploughing and stuff, but a lot of farmers always have animals. Animals are it's so lovely to have animals on your farm. So we're all connected with animals. And so technology has to be used. And a lot of, I feel, the core farmer, beef farmer, livestock farmer, they adopting technologies, but it's the farmers that are, it's sort of like their secondary business. They need to also start focusing on technologies, on rearing their herds. And one of the focus at this year's Stockman School is a profitable cow herd. So how do you make sure that your cows are optimal, how your cows are healthy, their genetics are good? And it comes back to data collection. If you don't know when your cow calved and you have an intercalving period, and when it calves the next year, what is the health of your cow herd? You need the data, and that's key. And traditionally, it's a journal that's in the bucky of in your bucky,
in a little bookie. Yes.
Yeah, in a little bookie, and you're making notes. And 6 months down the line, you think, oh my goodness, what was the birth date? And you've lost that info. So with technology today, I mean, we all have smartphones, and why not use your smartphone? And that's where we've jumped on the bandwagon in a way that, and I think it's important that we use the technology.
Yeah.
And we've seen that there's this gap in the market. So we want to, and we saw that there's a product out there called eWay and iLivestock. And the eWay is basically a scale, and it's using your smartphone. It links up with an app, and all your data is recorded on your app. The iLivestock app is always with you. So if you in the field and you notice animal sick, you can straight away make a record of that. If a calf is born, you can straight away make that. Who's the cow? What's the cow number? What's the date of birth? And this data collection then is so much easier. Historically, you've got this journal, then you need to go back to your office and you need to have a spreadsheet. And not all farmers are up to speed with spreadsheets. And when they get home at night, they've got a long day out in the field and you're tired. So it's not so easy. So I think this app and the eWay is definitely a way forward for a lot of farmers today.
Greg, we're going to continue our chat just now. We must just go to a break quickly. Ons is nou terug, bly gerus ingeskakel. Ek gesels steeds met Greg Talbot en ons praat 'n bietjie oor die wonderwerke wat tegnologie in die landbousektor kan veroorsaak. En dit is die ding, mens kan nie meer aan landbou dink sonder om aan tegnologie te dink nie. So Greg, I just want to ask you, do you think when it comes to technology, is it mostly the young, up-and-coming, the younger farmers who brings technology into farming? Or do you think the bigger picture, the bigger picture farmer, they are also embracing technology?
Yes, definitely the younger farmer is definitely doing that because they got the smartphones. They're very comfortable with the smartphones, with the uptake of the technology, downloading apps, and they want to jump on. I think I did a bit of research now just a week ago, and I find where the uptake is a little bit slow is the idea that people need to pay and you have to have a subscription for things. And farmers tend to, especially the older generation, they sort of step back and they're not okay with this idea yet that you need to pay for. You need a subscription, but it's sort of that's where technology is, and it's something we need to face. I think we all got apps and news apps, and you pay for these apps on a monthly basis. So that's one of the challenges. But as far as the technology goes, I mean, I think there's readers. So we've got electronic readers that read the tag of the animal. So that's also key. Some of the older technologies were you had to manually enter the animal number, and then there can be problems with that. So now we've got electronic readers that read an electronic ear tag, and all the data is connected and gets taken up much easier and quicker. And you can do it more regularly. If you're doing it manually, they tend to not do it.
Yes.
So we need to jump in and do it more regularly so that the data, you can actually use the data. Animal weight.
Yes.
It's so critical to know the animal weight. As soon as an animal is losing weight or not growing, then you must know there's something wrong. The animal is sick. That's one of the first signs. And if you weigh regularly, you can take action before it's too late. One of the advantages, yeah.
Do you agree with me when I say that we live in a time where data is king? Data is king, and that you can't run away from it. That is just the way things are.
It is. Data is definitely, we need the data. For a number of years at Stockman School, the genetics has been very, very key. And if you don't have your numbers, you need to know your birth weight, your 100-day weight, your weaning weight. Those are key elements. We also, because you want to select your cow herd, you want to improve your cow herd. So those ones that aren't giving the right calf weights, and this is where the Livestock Registering Federation, they've got the numbers.
Yeah.
Got the numbers that you should be aiming for, your goals on what your cow herd should look like. And then you work towards that. And slowly over time, you improve the quality of your herd. So it remains key.
It's absolutely important. So I would love to ask you, what trends do you anticipate in the stock farming or the agricultural industry in the future, in the near future?
In the near future, well, definitely just to continue with the data collection. We need more data. And that data goes through to the Registering Federation, and then they can analyze that and say that we're on the right trend. I think also just meat quality and meat standards. We're really working hard at creating meat standards and getting better meat for our consumers. At the moment, it's still, I think South Africa is lacking a little bit behind, where you can't guarantee sort of the quality of a steak. And that's a concern. I mean, if you go and buy a steak, you want to know what's the quality. Whether if you want to pay a little bit more and get a better quality, then that would be good. But sometimes you go and buy a steak and it's a bit random. You don't know if it's a good quality steak or a bad quality steak, and we need to up the standards and the quality there. But that's where the Federation is helping, and that's definitely a trend that we're hoping to come through pretty soon in the next year or so. Yes.
Greg, we've got around 40 seconds left. Just one final thought. What do you think can be done more to improve or build the livestock industry in South Africa? Where should that focus lie?
That focus should lie, well, right now we need biosecurity. Biosecurity is paramount right now. We cannot farm if our animals are sick and foot and mouth is prevalent. So every farmer needs to sharpen up and put in processes to protect their farm, that foot and mouth doesn't spread.
Sorry, Greg, we have run out of time. But thank you so much for your passion and for your knowledge. And good luck there where you guys are today.
Thank you so much, Mia. Have a good day.
Ons is dan aan die einde van die program. Dankie dat jy ingeskakel het.